Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on the 1 hour time frame. And then later on in this video, I'm going to move on to higher and higher time frames. So let's just dive right in. First of all, this bearish divergence that I called out in my last video played out exactly as expected. We saw some choppy sideways price action and a little bit of bearish momentum here. Besides that, once we broke down below this ascending trend line, we immediately fell down to this next ascending trend line below, also playing out exactly as expected there. For now, we are still in this uptrend and nothing too much is really going on here. As far as I'm concerned, Bitcoin is still just trending higher at this point. In the case that we break down below this ascending trend line, currently sitting at 92.8K, well, at that point, you should be looking for some support on this descending trend line around the same price. And we have this ascending trend line as well, which could act as another level of short-term support. Overall, I think this bearish divergence has now fully played out here. Sometimes it can play out over like 2 days or so we might still have to entertain some short-term sideways or bearish price action. But so long as we do not lose these ascending trend lines, I don't think too much is really going on here. Next, we should take a quick look at some Fibonacci levels as well. I basically drew a Fibonacci retracement from this wick low to this wick high, and so far we saw a bounce from this 0.382 Fibonacci level sitting at 92.5K. Besides that, we should also be expecting some support around this 92.8K level. So long as we do not break out above these highs, I'm going to be using these Fibonacci retracement levels as some short-term areas of support. I'm not going to spend too much time on this 4-hour time frame because for now, not really too much is going on. We are basically just making higher highs and higher lows for Bitcoin. So as far as I'm concerned, this is still pointing towards the upside. Yes, we did reach overbought territory here, so potentially we could see a full reset all the way down to this 50 level for the RSI. However, sometimes when there is a very strong uptrend like the one we are currently in, you don't see a full reset of the RSI. Often in situations like this, you will see a partial reset and then moving back into overbought territory once again. Maybe a little bit similar to what we saw here recently in a downtrend. We were in a strong downtrend. We reset to the upside from this oversold territory and then just dipped straight back into oversold territory once again. I'm not saying it absolutely has to play out like that, but that is basically just my short-term outlook here because I am simply bullish on Bitcoin so long as we are holding above 90K on the 1-day time frame. And speaking of the 1-day time frame, we are still basically just breaking out above this descending trend line in the Bitcoin price, this massive downtrend that we spent a couple months taking a look at basically every day. But I do want to spend some time on the critical support and resistance levels on this higher time frame. So this 92 all the way down to 90,000 US dollar level is a strong level of support. In terms of resistance, that is sitting from around 95K all the way up to 96K. That is where I would be expecting this next area of resistance to be playing out. Once we break out above 96K, the next area of resistance would be 97.6K. Now let's take a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. First of all, on this 1-year time frame, notice how there is still a lot of liquidity at 95.3K, very close to the current price. This liquidity has been here for quite some time. After that, we have liquidity at 97.6K. And of course, we have massive liquidity sitting at 100,000 in the Bitcoin price. If we continue pushing up here, this 100K level will be critical to break because at that point, we are taking out a lot of liquidity. So we have to be open for the possibility of a rejection from this 100K level. Apart from that, though, if I take a look at the 3-day time frame, notice how we do have some liquidity to the upside, sitting at 94.4K. and 95.2K. However, most of the liquidity is to the downside right now. For example, the biggest pocket of liquidity is sitting at 97.6K, and there is even liquidity around this 90,000 US dollar level as well. Lastly, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables, yesterday we saw another massive $900 million inflow in a single day of trading. So at this point, the Bitcoin ETFs are very, very bullish on Bitcoin, guys. Recently, we saw massive outflows for a couple of weeks, and now a lot of cash is flowing back into the Bitcoin ETFs. Therefore, this is having an upwards pressuring effect on the Bitcoin price. Besides that, before I close off today, guys, I negotiated a 15% trading fee discount with Blowfin. I checked some other YouTube channels in the crypto space and they are all offering 10%. So this is 50% higher than what anyone else in the crypto space is offering. Make sure you go and check this link out. If you're already trading on Blowfin, though, you could just create a new account with this code right here. Although Blowfin is not allowed in the US, so in that case, I would recommend WeX, where I also have a massive trading fee discount for you guys. Either way, just go ahead and check this out if you are interested. But regardless, if you do want a bigger trading fee discount or not, thank you for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.